Hello friends, I'm Charting Man Dan of The Chart Guys. I've been trading for 13 years, been trading crypto for the last 6 years, and in this video we're going to look at the current consolidation in Bitcoin and the altcoins and whether or not this is indicative of a longer term top being set and the clues that we can use to help us gauge whether this consolidation is healthy, looking for continuation in the future, or whether our tops are in. Appreciate all you tuning back in. That's for all the new people watching. So first things first, the NASDAQ is going to be key over the next couple of days because right now the NASDAQ is tighter than it has been in a long time. If we look at the last 12 trading days for QQQ, we can see that we have a range of less than 3%. And if you go back in time and you look at when we have in a 3% range in the last few years, I can't see it. And so I'm sure it's happened at some point, but it's been years since that has happened. So that tells us, again, the tighter we get, the closer we know volatility and volume is coming. The tech sector has earnings next week, so that's going to be important to be keeping an eye on. But we're either going to see a bull break to the highest level that the NASDAQ has seen in 7 or 8 months, or we're going to see a bear break into clear weekly consolidation, which will be the clear shift to the bears taking control for the first time in over a month. So those are two obviously very different paths of where we're headed here in the short term. The current consolidation that we're seeing in crypto is a little bit different than what we're used to because of the shakeup that we've seen in the dominance. So we know that Bitcoin has been leading the way up for this last 4 or 5 weeks on this move. And what we've been watching for was for Bitcoin to get over 30,000, trade sideways at 30,000, and allow for the dominance chart to drop and for altcoins to play catch up. And that played out perfectly. The dominance rejected right from the double top highs, the highest dominance that we've seen in 2 years. And now it's a triple top. And again, it's not a resistance level. You know, we're not rejecting from it, but people are watching it. And people are potentially using that as a shift to, okay, shifting from focus on Bitcoin now to focus on some of these altcoins. And generally what we see is that when Bitcoin tops out and consolidates, that altcoins drop faster. And we're not seeing that happen right now, which overall, in my opinion, is a good sign for crypto bulls. What you want to see in a healthy market environment is rotation. And rotation is when you see one name or one sector perform well, and then you see some consolidation, which we know as a part of uptrends, consolidation is inevitable. We have to pull back if we're going to go further forward. That's just the name of the game. But what you need to see is on that consolidation, you need to see the profits going elsewhere. If we were pulling back on Bitcoin on the daily time frame, as we are doing right now, and if that was leading to all of crypto pulling back just as hard, if not harder, we would know money is leaving crypto, clearly. And that's something that I watch in stocks. When all of our major stock sectors are dropping at the same time, money is leaving the stock market. When you have the tech sector pulling back and the financial sector going up, it's just rotation. So that happens in the cryptocurrency space. And what you want to see is Bitcoin pulling back, profit taking in Bitcoin, and having that profit going into other names. And we are seeing that right now. If you are a crypto bull, you want to see Bitcoin maintain a daily uptrend and the dominance chart to continue dropping. And that would show us Bitcoin holding gains and altcoins getting a turn to play some catch up. So right now for Bitcoin, the key daily support for me for this uptrend to be maintained is 27.7 thousand. If that level holds, the daily uptrend remains intact. Bulls ideally want to hold EMA 12, this red line, because that's been holding for the last month plus, and we bounced off of it every time, and we're testing it right now. So over the next 5-6 hours, we're going to be battling to try and close above that level. But overall, if the entire crypto space was pulling back as Bitcoin is, then we'd say, all right, it might be time for weekly consolidation. But you compare it to Ethereum, look at Ethereum's daily consolidation. We're nowhere near daily EMA 12. We're nowhere near the last higher low. We're not at risk of losing the daily uptrend. So this is ideal for bulls. You're seeing Bitcoin, which has been leading the way. And again, I just imagine, an analogy is Bitcoin is a bull that is just running and it's tired and it's taking a breather, and consolidation is catching your breath. You know, we've been grinding higher for 5 weeks. All right, I'm tired. I need to catch a breath. And other names are trying to step up and take charge. So best case scenario is Bitcoin sets a daily high or low compared to 27.7 thousand, and altcoins, some of them, the stronger ones, head to higher highs, while Bitcoin is establishing a daily high or low and then trading, you know, between 28 and 30,000. Just keep those higher highs coming in other names, because again, that's when the profits are rotating around. You take profits from this bullish position, you put them in this altcoin, and that's when it's a game of musical chairs of capital going around from one name to the next. And there's also subsectors. You know, are we seeing the AI subsector pump and the DeFi names pump? And are we seeing the Metaverse names get their turn? Not necessarily at this point, but again, that's rotation. That's what bulls want to see in the healthiest crypto environment. And we know when we're in bull markets, in blue sky breakout, that's constantly going on. So at this point in time, the Bitcoin bulls are seeing 4-hour oversold conditions. It's a back burner. It's the first 4-hour oversold conditions that we have seen since this big bull move started from the 19,000 previous oversold conditions. So we have a bounce attempt underway. We know that there's a lot of space for a 4-hour lower high to be the result of the next bounce. We're going to watch the bounce retracement size. If the bounce retraces over 50%, the probability increases that our daily high or low is being set, because we then have the space to confirm the 4-hour uptrend to set the daily high or low. If it is a weak bounce and we only get up to the 382 retracement, it's possibly a bear flag to head to lower lows. The hourly RSI got real beat up, almost down into the teens. We're still in an hourly downtrend. So if this 4-hour bounce is going to see follow through, we have to see an hourly uptrend confirm. So right now we've got hourly EMA 12 resistance coming into the picture, and bulls definitely want to see as much follow through as possible to create the space. It's just one time frame at a time. First, we change the 5-minute uptrend to the bulls. All right, step one, great. Now I'm on the hourly. We need to do it on the hourly. And then after that, we zoom out to the 4-hour. This is what we call the zoom out game. And then we have to do it on the 4-hour. And all of that is required if we're going to set a daily high or low from 4-hour oversold conditions, which is certainly what the bulls want to see happen. So again, with this weakness in Bitcoin, you look at a name like ETH, it's not anywhere near as weak. We didn't even hit hourly oversold conditions. Bitcoin saw the hourly RSI almost hit the teens, and the 4-hour RSI is oversold. ETH 4-hour RSI is currently 53. It's much stronger. If ETH is going to weaken notably from here, we must confirm a 4-hour downtrend. We lost the 4-hour uptrend. We have to set the lower high and lower low if this daily consolidation is going to head to EMA 12 support with another leg down. And so all this being said, the NASDAQ matters to me, because if the NASDAQ starts weekly consolidation, that's going to increase probabilities for me that we see consolidation in crypto a bit more significant. Because if the NASDAQ breaks this 3% range for 12 days, if it breaks it bull, which would mean we are now at the highest levels that we've been at in 8 months, if that were to happen, then in my opinion, crypto names can form daily bull flags. Maybe not Bitcoin at this point because the retracement is a bit too significant, but ETH can be a daily bull flag at this point. And if the NASDAQ breaks bullish in the next couple of days, then the probabilities that ETH is a bull flag will increase significantly. So at this point in time, there are no major red flags. If Bitcoin 4-hour oversold bounce results in a bear flag and lower lows, it starts to get a bit concerning that, okay, it might be time for weekly consolidation. We might need to pull back for a couple of weeks rather than just a couple of days. So that's essentially how I'm viewing the market right now is, number one, the NASDAQ, and how is it going to break this range? But number two, is this consolidation just for a couple of days in crypto or a couple of weeks? And these are the clues that I just mentioned and that we'll keep going over in this video that are going to help us determine which it's going to be. Probability needle. We never know for sure. We just try and gauge little bits of information that help us determine which is the most likely scenario. And if the NASDAQ breaks bull, probability of brief daily consolidation increases notably. And if the NASDAQ breaks bear, probability of weekly consolidation increases notably. So Bitcoin bounce attempt, hourly EMA 12 resistance coming down. And again, we're watching for signs that the hourly lower high is being set, knowing we need space. We need more space if we're going to confirm an hourly uptrend from here. So aggressive bulls are looking to play this bounce, but there's better choices out there. You know, if you're playing the ETH bounce based on Bitcoin levels, and that's something I've done many times in my crypto trading, is, you know, if I see an altcoin is stronger than Bitcoin, I'll trade it based off of Bitcoin. What do I mean by that? Well, if Bitcoin's got crushed RSI and is looking for first 4-hour oversold conditions, you know, if I'm only looking at ETH by itself, I maybe want to be more patient and say, well, we're hardly oversold. We've hardly started consolidation. I don't think I want to jump in just yet. I might want to wait for another leg down. Whereas if I'm looking at Bitcoin and saying, well, the hourly RSI is almost in the teens, we're at 4-hour oversold conditions, maybe I want to be a little bit more aggressive on an ETH entry because I know Bitcoin is getting due for a bounce. So I will oftentimes use Bitcoin, which is the benchmark for the crypto sector, as the guide, and then use its information from its chart to trade a stronger altcoin. And right now, the bounce on ETH, I mean, anybody playing this bounce on ETH is doing a lot less sweating than trying to play the bounce on BTC. It's just a much more comfortable, you know, bulls have control. It's just a much more controlled pullback. We've got an hourly downtrending support line we can be keeping an eye on. Best case for the ETH bulls would be to top out on this bounce, hold the back test of that support, confirm the hourly uptrend for the 4-hour bounce to then be getting some follow through. And again, we haven't hit hourly oversold conditions yet. And so we'll be watching for that. If we do see another leg down, I personally will get interested in looking for an ETH entry on first hourly oversold conditions. My ideal setup for an hourly back burner is strong daily uptrend coming from increasing bull volume. You've got the daily EMA 12 aligning with hourly oversold conditions. And that's a potential setup if we see another leg down. So a more patient, a more picky bull is going to be watching that. Another thing to be watching, the crypto stocks. Riot is looking for a daily higher low. Again, no red flags on this daily consolidation at this point. Hourly back burner worked on Riot this morning. First hourly oversold conditions into a 5% plus bounce. We have to confirm the hourly uptrend on Riot into tomorrow for the daily higher low to be set and for it to be a potential daily bull flag. So that's another little clue. You know, it's the crypto sector is not going to trade based off what Riot is doing, but if Riot is showing us a daily bull flag, it's going to increase the probabilities that Ethereum is a daily bull flag as well. Again, all these little puzzle pieces on all these little places, and we determine which ones matter the most to us, and we try and put those puzzle pieces together to get a clear picture of probabilities of what's going to happen in the short term and the long term. But for right now, we're looking at the short term. Dominance chart, as I mentioned, that monthly pullback, weekly. Looking at this level down here, 46.77 is the lowest dominance that we've seen in a month. And so if that were to break, it would be notable. And on the dominance, you know, treat it like a trend. If you are an altcoin bull, you want to see a daily downtrend confirm on the dominance chart. Because this is a nice, you know, knee-jerk reaction of altcoins playing catch-up over the last 5-6 days. But if it's going to be sustained, just like a trend, we've got to, you know, maybe it's a head and shoulders. We've got to see lower highs and lower lows continuing to show us that capital movement. And for me, I'm just visualizing capital movement here, where capital is leaving Bitcoin the last couple of days and going into other coins. ETH BTC is at its highs. Simple statement, if 4-hour EMA 12 is support, ETH BTC bulls have absolute complete control. When we lose 4-hour EMA 12, it's time for daily consolidation to likely shape up. And we're not going to forget that we haven't confirmed a daily uptrend on ETH BTC from the lows. So as I just mentioned, the exact thing with Bitcoin dominance, we have to see the higher low and higher high to show us, yes, this is continued capital movement into ETH. We had the Shanghai upgrade. It was a little bit overdone for fear. Some shorts got squeezed out. And if that's going to continue being the case of capital from the sidelines coming into ETH and bulls buying dips, we've got to see the uptrend confirm on ETH BTC. Big picture, I'm watching for a 2-month higher low on ETH BTC. I've talked about this a few times, and we might be watching this into 2024. If we set a 2-month higher low, and then next thing you know, 2 candles later, we're towards the end of the year in 2023, we pull back for a candle, 6 months just went by. So how this 2-month equilibrium breaks is going to have very significant long-term implications for me on whether it's better to be bullish Bitcoin or ETH. Big gust of wind. Litecoin. So as I mentioned, Litecoin, I was talking about a hypothetical short in Litecoin just because I cannot short Litecoin in the US on any good exchanges. And so I mentioned, on the bull break with no follow through, looking short, taking partial profit into the consolidation because we are still in a daily uptrend. And then I would have stopped out on that higher high, break even. And bears are still keeping an eye out because we are testing this weekly resistance now. If we fail 105.69, it is a weekly lower high, and we'll look for a tightening range. We'll definitely look for a weekly higher low to be the result of any pullback from here. But we know that the first indication that a weekly lower high is being set is a loss of the daily uptrend. So there haven't been any fake outs on Litecoin. There's been bull breaks with a lack of follow through, which got some aggressive bears interested, and then they've stopped out when we didn't lose the daily uptrend. And so right now it's an inside bar, and anything above 91.02 is a daily higher low next consolidation. We've got to lose the daily higher lows to have any confidence that the weekly lower high is being set. There's a lot of altcoins. We know we just looked at the dominance chart. If the dominance chart is going to consistently pull back from this double top, now triple top, for the next couple of months, there's a lot of altcoins that are trying for monthly higher lows on their BTC pairings. And Litecoin is one of them. So let's look at Litecoin here. And we essentially had a monthly stair step off the lows. And now we've been consolidating for 3-4 months. But a monthly higher low is the most likely scenario. I'm expecting that LTC BTC is going to form a monthly inside bar. And then we're going to look for it to break in May. And if it breaks bull, then our monthly higher low is set. And Litecoin will continue to gain against Bitcoin. Essentially, Bitcoin has had a month of gaining against all these altcoins. And now, the best case for crypto as a whole, as a sector, is for Bitcoin to stay strong, whether it's a daily uptrend, whether it's healthy weekly consolidation, and to have these altcoin BTC pairings set monthly higher lows. And we can just go down the list. Link BTC is trying to set a monthly higher low. There's just so many names we can look at. ADA BTC? No, it's not. Not a good example. But there's plenty that are. BNB trying to set a monthly higher low. So that's the question for May. Can these alt BTC pairings set their monthly higher lows and see a more significant shift back in their favor after it's been the Bitcoin show for the last month? And LTC BTC on the daily chart, if we're going to see, a failed test of this weekly resistance, you really want to see LTC BTC fail 3445. If that level breaks, the probabilities that Litecoin is going to break weekly resistance increase a good bit. So keep an eye on that level. We'll see if we reject initially. Bulls will try a higher low and then try a break. We'll keep an eye on it. A couple of the stronger names from this bull move the last couple weeks that are looking for daily higher lows. ADA is definitely one of them. Big move up. We had a monthly uptrend confirmed. So ADA, little monthly higher low and higher high. Now we zoom out to the 4-month time frame. Tons of space for the lower high on the 4-month chart. And again, the 4-month is what I'm watching on a lot of places. The NASDAQ, Bitcoin, a lot of places I'm watching the 4-month time frame. And let's just go to Bitcoin 4-month real quick. Possible scenario. Bitcoin needs another leg up for sure, but I'm going to be watching for a potential tightening range into 2024. Bulls want to see follow through for another few months. Then if we top out, pull back, set a higher low. Next thing you know, we're in 2024 watching this tightening range. And look at last time. Back when I got into crypto, 2017, topped out, bear market forever. It's the end of the world. Oh my God, the bulls are back. Nope, not yet. Lower high. It was a 4-month equilibrium that broke bull into the round 2 of euphoria and significant bullish opportunity. And so I'm watching for the same thing to happen. And the retracement on the bounce last time around got up to 65% retracement. If that were going to happen again, the bulls have a lot of work to do because they need to get up to upper 40,000s. We need another 50% from here. And it's possible, but definitely need further follow through for an equilibrium to be the most likely scenario, because if we cannot break this retracement, it keeps a long-term bear flag on the table. If we cannot break 382 retracement, if we break 382 retracement, then we look for that equilibrium. So ADA is looking for a daily higher low. Hourly has not gotten oversold yet. We've got a downtrend support line we can be keeping an eye on. And a channel. Well, I might be watching a wedge. If we top out here at EMA 12, I'm going to be watching for an hourly falling wedge on ADA. And essentially what we'd be looking for is a rejection from a downtrend resistance line. I'll be able to draw it more accurately once we have a third point here, because with 2 points, you know, it can be like this, it could be like this. Once I have my third point, it gets locked in on where it is, and then we would need to pull back, hold the low, or break it with 0 follow through, and then break this pattern bull as the first indication that a daily higher low is being set. As long as daily EMA 12 holds, the bulls are just fine on this daily consolidation. This consolidation was inevitable. You can't go straight up. Increasing bull volume is a great sign. We're cooling off RSI. We're looking for higher lows. OP is another one, and it's already got a nice bounce underway. I like OP for its tightening weekly range. You can see this OP bounce is impressive. So we're watching an OP downtrending support line just as a visual guide. Doesn't mean you have to long off the support. And we got a channel on OP. If we reject from this downtrend resistance line, the bulls must set up the hourly trend change to break it bull. But again, I like OP because I love tightening ranges. And if you're not in a position, you want OP to set a weekly lower high and get real tight before breaking in, early May. If you are in a position, then you obviously want to see OP set the daily higher low as a bull flag and head up towards weekly resistance. But why OP is enticing is number one, the nice tightening range, but number two, the proximity to all-time highs. It's a potential monthly bull flag. And if we see this monthly inside bar form and then it breaks bull, the probabilities of a monthly bull flag will increase a good bit. Keep extra attention on any name near blue sky breakout because automatically their reward is higher. When you're talking about risk reward, when you're establishing a trade game plan, any name that is near all-time highs, the reward is higher. There's no cap, just in terms of no previous resistance to potentially slow things down. And we know that if we reach a market environment where the bulls continue to gain confidence as they have been the last month, and again, I'm talking about the market as a whole, not just crypto, then it's possible we see, and we're already seeing it in some of these stocks. GFAI, so the AI sector, just low cap, high volatility name, but these are the kinds of moves you see in euphoria blue sky, hundreds of % moves. And so bulls want to see that in crypto names that are hitting blue sky breakout. They want to see traders throwing money at the names that have a lack of price resistance and are in price discovery mode. On the big still a weak bounce. Again, there's altcoins out there that have a lot better bounces going on right now. Where from this big leg down, BTC has bounced about 45% retracement, and you just compare that to OP, which we just looked at, and that bounce retracement is 70% plus. It's just a much different setup. I mean, Mana's green today. Mana still has a ton of work to do. We've got to confirm a weekly uptrend by breaking 6.8. And Mana BTC needs to change some trends. We need a daily uptrend eventually here. But again, we're just seeing some money flow into alts. And it's a question of, does this sustain? Do we see daily uptrends confirm on these alt BTC pairings to show that this is more than just a little knee-jerk move for a few days? It's showing us capital movement, and it has to be sustained capital movement to be more than just a little one-off pop. All right, I'm reading the chat room. I appreciate the likes and the shares. Let's get that up to 100 likes, please. Definitely healthy consolidation at this point. The bears have to prove to us that this is more than healthy consolidation. What's the market cap? It's dropping, I assume. Yeah, so it's dropping, but it's still very strong. It's an uptrend. Keep an eye on this, uptrend. If you want to know what capital is doing, is capital leaving crypto? If we're in a daily uptrend on the total market cap, then my answer is no. I'll take requests in just a second. OP, I know nothing about OP and what it does, but I do know it came out around APT. And they had some similar, they were the lead bulls for a while. APT had this monster run. That was back to end 2022. That was to start 2023. And OP had a similar monster run same time. So I have no idea if there's any relation to them fundamentally, but I know mentally they're paired together in my brain just because they traded similarly enough. And we also used them to find these tops. If you'll remember, if you were watching back in February, forget which one topped first, but we used one of them topping to be a bit more aggressive. So AP topped first, and then we used that to help find the top in OP for it to eventually roll over with this big drop. So let's check out Sand BTC. So again, it's a nice bounce. You've got to change trends, especially when you're in a downtrend on the monthly, weekly, daily time frame. You've got to change trends. So we're just going to look for a weekly lower high to be the result of this bounce. I mean, eventually, these metaverse names are going to have their time to shine again. They had a great run back when, Meta, the stock was pumping and Zuckerberg was doing presentations and all that. And then they faded into oblivion. But it's a cycle. They will have another cycle, whether it's a news catalyst that gets it going or whatever. But you'll see it on the BTC pairing, and you'll have to see weekly uptrends confirm. Remember Litecoin? Litecoin was all bear forever. Just nothing, nothing, nothing. And when we confirmed the first weekly uptrend in what was close to years, we then followed through with that move right there, which was October and November of last year. And during October and November of last year, Litecoin had this move from 47 to 85. So it was after the LTC BTC first weekly uptrend confirmed in forever that the US dollar pairing then had that kind of move after. So again, there's no rush to nail a bottom. Watch for Sand BTC and Mana BTC to confirm a weekly uptrend. It's going to take a while. We need to bounce for weeks. We need to consolidate for weeks. We need to see continuation for weeks. Then we can say, this is different than anything we've seen in the last year and a half of trading for Sand. Then it will be notable to us. But until then, remain a bit cautious and skeptical. Remain skeptical. The chart dictates remaining skeptical on these weaker names. They can take their turn. XRP had its turn. A little bit of a news catalyst there. But remain skeptical and make the bulls prove it. Don't be giving the bulls in these weak altcoins any benefit of the doubt. Prove it. Prove that they should have your money in them. Any particular reason I favor the 4-month instead of the quarterly? Not off the top of my head. When I was doing the analysis, I'm sure there was a chart where it was just more clear on the 4-month versus the 3-month. I doubt there's much difference. I doubt one's going to give, a whole lot of different information than the other. But I like the 4-month. I do know that much. Do I think it's possible to break all-time high in some alts before halving? Some of them, yes. I mean, OP. And there's one that starts with a G that just hit all-time highs, didn't it? GMX. I forget who it is. There's a G out there. Yeah, GMX. All-time high 2 days ago. Not a lot of follow-through, not a euphoria explosion, but they're definitely... I mean, it's the names that have less price history that are closer to all-time highs for the most part. Because the names that have been around for years have, a year of downtrends that they have to work back through. Same page with Surge. How do I keep my long-term no-touch crypto in a hard wallet? And what is the percentage of your BTC allocation compared to Alt or ETH? Good question. I would say, ETH is definitely gained as ETH BTC found a bottom and has been bouncing for, the last year plus or however long it's been. I would say they're roughly, maybe it's Bitcoin and then everything else is the same as Bitcoin and everything else is vast majority Ethereum, tiny bit of Litecoin, tiny bit of Link. That's mostly it. So that's pretty much how it's broken down. STX BTC is what I care about first. What's it doing here? Trying to set a weekly higher low. Have to confirm a daily uptrend for the weekly higher low to be set. So clear daily downtrend showing that STX has been weaker than Bitcoin for the last month plus. So that has to change. Otherwise, you're better off being in Bitcoin than STX. So we have to hold 775 and break 101 to confirm the first daily uptrend since we started this consolidation a month ago. So burden is on bulls on both pairings to set a daily higher low. ARB. That's a nice daily bull flag. This is it's trading well in the sense that there's your double bottom. Here's your nice tightening range above a double bottom. Just a beautiful equilibrium. Find equilibriums. Get comfortable with equilibriums. They tell you we're going to break soon. We're going to see volatility. And so as soon as we break 126, we can't say this break is going to result in a huge push to all-time highs. But we can say after a double bottom, if this equilibrium breaks bull, that's a big win for the bulls. So 125, 129 breaking was the go signal, and we followed through very significantly. And this daily consolidation is very healthy. We have not hit hourly oversold just yet. And the simple statement is if daily EMA 12 is support, then the bulls are holding on just fine. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. Appreciate you tuning in, keeping an eye on the NASDAQ's an hourly equilibrium. High of Friday, low of Friday, lower high this morning, trying to work on that higher low now. So we're going to look for this tightening range to break. Tesla earnings tomorrow or Wednesday. Wednesday. Keep an eye on that. You never know. We could get information about Tesla's Bitcoin holdings changing. It's not probable, but you never know. Don't want to be blindsided by that. So 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, something to keep an eye on. But other than that, again, just one more summary. Bitcoin, keep daily consolidation healthy. Ideally, you obviously want to see 4-hour oversold conditions lead to a 4-hour oversold bounce. If that happens, Bulls want to see altcoins remain nice and strong. They want to see the names that have been strong. Look at Link. Very brief daily consolidation. We V-shaped right back to that higher high. So Link is staying strong up near weekly resistance of 840. If we get over 840, the monthly higher low will be set and we'll be in a monthly uptrend. 840, and then we're worried about the mid $9 is going to be a battle on Link, but that would at least be a little monthly uptrend confirming. So again, we're not seeing a flight out of these altcoins right now during this Bitcoin daily consolidation. We're not seeing a flight out of these crypto miners. MARA barely broke the low of Friday. So bulls just want to see this. This is just keep doing this. This is fine, healthy consolidation. We'll need a high volume next leg down for the bears for us to say, okay, this is not ideal. But again, we have to anticipate daily consolidation is going to happen no matter what. We know that's a part of markets, and we just need to ensure that it is healthy versus fearful or high volume or any of those other things. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Have a great rest of your Monday.